how chaotic is the Philippines. Recently, the Philippines has not only deliberately created disputes in the South China Sea, but also allowed the United States to increase military bases and deploy medium-range missiles. President Marcos Jr. has colluded with the International Criminal Court for his own interest to arrest former President Duterte. His public support rate has continued to decline. However, these are not enough to describe the current situation in the Philippines. They cannot prove the problems that have arisen since Marcos Jr. became president. According to the latest report on the Spanish newspaper El Mundo on the 18th of July, a condemnation statement from the United Nations has caused a stir in the international community. The United Nations Human Rights Council officially spoke out on the 18th of July, pointing out that there is a serious problem of baby trafficking in the Philippines, and particularly emphasized that such behavior is especially carried out through online platforms. Strongly condemning this behavior of trading babies as commodities, the United Nations Human Rights Council pointed out in a statement, after a long investigation, it was found that the trafficking of babies in the Philippines has formed a hidden but active chain, and online platforms have become the core trading channels. Social media groups, encrypted chat software, and even some second-hand trading platforms are used by criminals to publish babies for sale information from inquiry bargaining to agreed transaction methods. The whole process is completed online. It is extremely concealed. The Council specifically mentioned, in such transactions, babies are often clearly marked with prices. Prices range from thousands of dollars to tens of thousands of dollars. Some gangs will also forge birth certificates, adoption documents, and other materials to launder illegal transactions. This condemnation is not groundless. International human rights organizations have previously submitted evidence to the Council, including undercover transaction records and testimonies from victims' families, confirming that online baby trafficking in the Philippines has formed a supply and a demand chain and is expanding. This is also the first time that the United Nations Human Rights Council has issued a special condemnation of the issue of baby trafficking in the Philippines, not only bringing this hidden crime to the international perspective, but also explicitly requiring the Philippine government to take emergency measures immediately, crack down on baby trafficking on online platforms, and protect children's rights. It is worth noting that the online platform baby trafficking, named by the United Nations Human Rights Council, is by no means an isolated case. In the Philippines, criminals have long turned social media and encryption software into a dark web market for trading babies. A criminal chain from target scouting to whitewashing transactions is operating online. These transactions are often hidden in seemingly ordinary social groups. Undercover investigations show that criminals will create private groups on related platforms such as Telegram, using the names of adoption consultation, family mutual assistance to cover up the real purpose. After new people join, the administrator will first ask for capital verification and only send the baby for sale information after passing it. The babies in the photos are marked with gender, age, health status, and come with price tags like commodities. Some gangs even offer package services and can get forged birth certificates and voluntary adoption statements from birth mothers for extra money. The transaction process is designed to be extremely covert. After the buyer selects the target online, he will not directly. Instead of accepting transfers, they pay in multiple installments through underground banks. When meeting for delivery, they will choose a remote maternal and child store or private clinic. They call it private adoption. Some even complete the entire process online, send baby videos via encrypted email, pay via virtual currency, hire runners to deliver across cities. The buyer and the seller never meet from beginning to end, minimize the risk of being traced. What's even more infuriating is that the upstream of the chain has already formed an industrial chain. Some gangs specifically target pregnant women from poor families. They use help find a good family after delivery and give a living allowance as bait. They promise only temporary adoption. In fact, they sell the baby immediately after it is born. Some people forge the accidental pregnancy plot, steal newborns from the hospital, and quickly sell them online. And those trafficked babies may eventually be sold to other countries as adopted children, or even become illegal laborers, potential victims of organ trafficking and pornographic videos for sale. These transactions hidden behind a screen have turned babies into negotiable and expressible commodities. The concealment of online platforms has become a protective umbrella for the chain of crimes, making this trampling on life more difficult to track. Before the Human Rights Council sounded the alarm, Philippine Senator Pia Cayetano had already proposed a motion in the Senate on the 17th to investigate criminal gangs that may be involved in online child trafficking, and claimed, "This sad incident reminds us some families are facing deep poverty and despair, but this must not become. We must provide mothers and families with viable alternatives." The United Nations Human Rights Organization even used the word widespread to explain that child trafficking is no longer an isolated phenomenon, but a well-known fact. The Philippine government not only did not pay attention to it, but symbolically arrested a trafficker, which did not have any deterrent effect. For a long time, the Philippines has not only been trafficking children online, but is also one of the main centers of child pornography on the internet worldwide. When the former iron-blooded president of the Philippines, Duterte, was in office, he was determined to eradicate the child pornography industry chain, but the effect was minimal. Most foreigners with pedophilia like the Philippines very much. Many Filipinos are too poor to buy from the internet, posting child pornography videos online to earn money. Children in the Philippines have become money printing machines for every household. In fact, President Marcos Jr. focused all his attention on how to please the United States and deal with political opponents, and did not pay any attention to how to combat online child sales, using children to make pornographic content and other things. This has further exacerbated the frequent occurrence of child trafficking in the Philippines. It can be seen that online child trafficking is not an isolated problem, but the result of poverty, governance inertia, and power indifference. If the Philippine government still stays at symbolic actions, and if top-level governance always gives way to political calculations, then no matter how earnest the senators' proposals are and how severe the UN's condemnation is, it will be difficult to prevent the tragedy from repeating